Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Parliament Viewpoint, our weekly program on AIT Parliamentary Channel on the DASA platform that brings to you the positions of the Nigerian Parliament on issues of state and national importance. My name is Ogemoyi Ihimekmen. On the program this week, we will take the views of Nigerian federal lawmakers on the security challenges in the country with a special focus on the activities of the terrorist group Boko Haram. The task of eradicating the insurgency masterminded by the Boko Haram in Adamawa, Yobe, Borno, and some other parts of the north is yet to abate. On Tuesday, 16th of September, the Senate reached a decision that the country is at war and asked the President, Goodluck Jonathan, to take this seriously.
That this Senate is worried that the security situation in the northeast states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa has continued to deteriorate despite the imposition of a state of emergency in the said states. That this Senate observes that in the last couple of months, while the National Assembly was on its annual recess, have witnessed unabated loss of lives and damage to property in what is increasingly challenging the security agencies in the affected states. That this Senate is concerned that the insurgents have purported to carve out some local governments in Borno and Adamawa states, declaring same as a caliphate under their control, as if those areas were no longer part of the territory of Nigeria. And further concerned that the level of regrouping and resurge of the insurgents is becoming alarming and the activities getting more and more inhuman. This Senate is therefore invited to resolve to mandate the leadership of the Senate to meet with Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and the leadership of the security agencies on steps taken so far and further steps to be taken to address the situation and report back to the Senate as quickly as possible. I so move.
We must make no mistake about it. If we do not resolve what's happening in the Northeast, there may not be an election in Nigeria next year. The clear provisions of Section 1353 of our Constitution states that if the country is at war, and of course we're at war, election may not hold. So we need, if anybody believes because it's from Lagos or from Enugu or from anywhere, that what's happening in the Northeast does not concern him, we are making a major mistake. We have our soldiers who are dying every day. They come from various parts of the country. Democracy has been rolled back in the Northeast. The freedom of speech is no more working there. Freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of movement. So democracy is certainly not working in Borno State and Adamawa State and some other part of the Northeast. And we must show sufficient concern to ensure that we restore not just security but democracy in those places. So today is very important for us as the Senate to take a firm stand on how to deal with this situation. I believe we can do this because we've done it before. I therefore would like to join hands with our colleagues in ensuring that this motion succeeds and we're able to be part and parcel of the resolution of the problem of insecurity in the Northeast.
There is an apparition that is haunting the world. Let me quote from the words of Madeleine Albright, the former Secretary of the United States, Secretary of State, that the world is sick. And I am aware, Mr. President, that all of us seated here will agree with me that really the world is sick. But let me come to our level, our very peculiar security challenge in Nigeria. Mr. President, I must commend the Nigerian Armed Forces for what they are doing, for what they have done so far. And for those of us who have people in the armed forces, we sympathize with them on a daily basis. I agree with my colleague, Senator Ndume, that events that turned out during our break will have actually warranted our calling short or cutting short our break to come to these chambers. Because as I speak, even in my own senatorial district, we have lost well over 200 lives. Yes, over 200 lives. 3 days ago, unknown gunmen, numbering over 200, invaded a community and killed well over 20 people. So what I'm trying to say in the sense that these insurgents are gradually creeping into Taraba State. They have selective or selected targets. Now, why I said there is an apparition that is haunting the world is that from whichever direction you turn at all, you find out that there is a peculiar security challenge. Our own is taking a worse dimension.
And I want to say here that the challenge we are facing is something more serious than whatever we had before, and we had cause to call the National Assembly back to deliberate on the matter. We, the people of Southern Borno, particularly Goza, Damboa, and majority of Borno, part of Adamawa, and part of Yobe, all of us know that it is presently occupied. The motion here says threat to our sovereignty. This is not threat. When you have a house with 2 rooms, 3 rooms, and somebody has already taken a room in your house, and he says it's your house, you don't go out there and say there is a threat to your house. Somebody is occupying your house. Somebody is occupying this country and has declared it as a caliphate. 40 days today, Goza was taken over. Our emir is a refugee in Abuja. And the new emir that they call Amir has been installed in Goza. Yesterday in Bama, a new emir was installed by the Boko Haram.
No doubt at all that the nation is at war. That is the issue. So it is not about whether it is Boko Haram or not Boko Haram. There is no difference between the situation in the Northeast now and if any other country had declared war on Nigeria. So this is not, I don't think we have to mince words at all about what we want to do. I think my suggestion here is, how do we prosecute this war? Because there is a real war for us, whether it's on one side, one section of the country, or it's covering the whole country. So once a nation is at war, the entire nation will have to mobilize all the war resources and war efforts, all. Whether it's refugee, whether it's supply line, whether it is medical, or anything at all. So indeed, there is no doubt in my mind that what Boko Haram is doing now is they've declared war on Nigeria. And it's true we didn't recall the Senate. Ali Ndume, you are right. But also I'm sure you are aware that I directed that the Senate Committee on Defense must come and meet with the service chiefs whilst we are on recess so that they can get a proper briefing. We have a dilemma on our hands here because there is a limit to what we can say in plenary here and what we can discuss in a closed door session. So we have to be a bit careful. And that's why in my address I said that this is the time for us to support our armed forces, to encourage them so that they can prosecute this war. At this stage, all of us are involved, whether you are in uniform or out of uniform. And we have to find a solution to it. Back the military, mobilize as much as we can, bring all our war resources and war efforts together so that we can prosecute this war. There's no way in which we are going to just say that this is exclusively for one section of this country. No. And I don't think that that is the thinking in any quarter at all. Unfortunately, we're not satisfied with the way the war has been prosecuted so far. We want a better strategy. We want a very concise, very precise statements that will give directions on how we're going to prosecute this war and end it as quickly as possible. There's no question of election. Election is not even on the table now.
It should come under additional prayers, and it is as such. Urge Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, to declare war on Boko Haram, total war on Boko Haram, in the northeastern part of Nigeria, and wherever else in Nigeria they may exist.
Those in favor of this additional prayer say aye. Aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it.
The House of Representatives, complementing the decision of the Senate, opted for legislative diplomacy to enable the country procure the superior firepower needed to prosecute the war, since the US and the UK are said non-disposed to selling arms to Nigeria because of alleged human rights abuses. On a separate interview, some lawmakers want a careful and logical deployment of troops without political implication.
I quite agree that a certain part of the northern Nigeria is at war. A certain part of northern Nigeria is at war. So I'm not going to say completely that Nigeria is at war. As to war, as to what is happening, I can clearly say that it's lack of proper management of the challenges we had from day one. If we had had very good management in terms of nipping it in the bud from day one, we wouldn't have been where we are today. What do I mean by that? When you look at the whole scenario surrounding where we are today, when the sect leader was arrested by the soldiers, handed over to the police, and eventually was killed. From that point, we will have arrested the situation. You know, at least prove to the world that we don't just kill for killing's sake. We will have brought to book those who are responsible for the killing. I want to also bring back the recent happening, is it in Kaduna or in Zaria, where the children of a particular sect leader were also killed. If that sect, that religious sect was, or if they are also violent intended, the story would have been different today. They would have been fighting religious war. So it's about the presidency managing the crisis properly. It's about taking actions when we're supposed to take action. It's just unfortunate that it's innocent Nigerians that are being killed. And I've said it times without number. Rather than killing people in Borno and everywhere, let them come to Abuja and drive all of us out. Maybe then we will all wake up.
It over the purpose, and there is no sane Nigerian who will not support a declaration of war against the Boko Haram. Who are these Boko Haram? If they are Nigerians, which means we are declaring a war against Nigeria. Nigeria is fighting against Nigeria. From my investigations, we are made to know that some of them are not actually from Nigeria. So it is only proper and nice for the interest of our people, our country, to come together to really see how we can degrade the so-called Boko Haram, fight them to a standstill, and put them out of existence so that our brothers from the northeast will be in peace. If you follow the terrain, the way things are going, right from when they started, we should be concerned as a country on how to ensure that we come together and fight Boko Haram. what's the political implication? That's what is my worry as a Democrat. We can't say Boko Haram is stronger than the Nigerian military. It is not possible. The Nigerian military put together the police, the SSS, the army, the navy. I will not agree that they are stronger than us. We must energize them. We must put whatever problems we have behind us. We must come together as a country to approach it holistically as a people, because those they are killing are not just Christians or Northerners. They are killing anybody found within their area of operations. Yesterday evening, one of my staff was shouting. I had him having a telephone conversation with somebody, and he was shouting, where are you? I was interested to find out what was going on. And what is the explanation? That the wife is in the bush. He's from Adamawa. That the wife is in the bush with the son. That Boko Haram has taken over the whole community, killing, burning houses. This is what we must fight to stop in this country. So declaring a war against Boko Haram, I agree. But the political implication is what is worrisome to some of us who are Democrats. I hope and I pray that declaration is not intended for the extension of tenure of this administration. That will mean we have failed ab initio to provide what is the essence of our presence here, as provided for in Section 4 of the Constitution, to maintain peace and security for our people. Boko Haram, to me, is, if we are serious as a country, if our military are ready to do their work, is something they can degrade them and finish them within 1 month. The cause of the extension and the long stay is our worry to some of us that feel very, very concerned with the situation of things. Year in, year out, we appropriate for the military. Year in, year out. Since I came to this parliament, we appropriate for the military. In fact, we send back whatever estimate is sent to us for them, because we are very, very conscious of their role in the existence and protection of this country. Our sovereignty depends solely on the military. So even the parliament appreciates that. And we do everything, to give them that support. So I will be so surprised, as I am. I am so surprised that Nigerian military till now are unable to fight Boko Haram. Granted, it's a fight, from what they said, it's a fight amongst us. When you go to Borno, where I hear this happens, your friend that you are sitting with, you don't know that it's a Boko Haram. So declaring a war, again, is my concern. You are declaring a war against who? I was talking about conspiracy. We need to talk to our brothers from those affected states to be sincere, to come out openly and let us know what is going on. You don't just declare a war against Boko Haram when all those affected are known, but they find it very difficult to bring them out. So you are declaring a war against who? Okay, the ones in Sambisa Forest, fine, we can go there. One, we must be sincere as a people. We must appreciate Nigeria, our sovereignty, the need for the unity we are enjoying, for us to fight Boko Haram.
Well, for me, I believe strongly that insurgency, if it is not backed by government, should be resolved within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or at least a month. If it's not backed by international bodies or international sects. It should be resolved within months. And we've heard that funding, we've seen how America has been able to curtail these insurgencies everywhere, all over the world, by blocking their means of funding. And as long as Boko Haram, or whatever they call themselves, still have access to funding, either through CBN, either through crude oil sales, either through illegal means, we will continue to fight them. I want to appeal to the government to see beyond confronting them. While confronting them on the field, where that is going on, we should look at means of blocking all the sources of funding and bringing the people who are involved, the financiers, bring them to book. For God's sake, allow an international panel to be involved, so that Nigerians will be, those who are involved will be taught lessons of their life. You don't take people's lives with ill-gotten money and you want to go free with it. No, I don't think it is right. The right step is to agree with the international body, set up a panel of international standard. Let everything be open. Let us have this investigation. Whoever is involved, whoever, should be brought to book.
The president is doing his best. We encourage him for what he's doing. He should continue. We are appealing to whoever is out there sponsoring Boko Haram for the division of this country. He should cease. He should stop, because it won't help us. We need to remain united as a people for us to continue enjoying that respect we enjoy before, within the Committee of States.
That's Parliament Viewpoint on AIT Parliamentary Channel on the DASAT platform. Join us again next week for another episode. My name is Ogemoyi Ihimekmen. Thanks for staying with us.